welcome to the Loaded Cannon. Not a fun one to talk about today, but before we do that, let's do our dedication. And today's dedication is going to be slightly different, and it's going to try and bring into focus the fact that, we are all just human beings. And the reason why I'm so passionate and so many people are so passionate about being pro-Palestinian is actually not that we're pro-Palestinian at all. We're pro-humanity. We're pro treating people with respect and with dignity and fairness, and opposing this murderous regime, opposing apartheid, opposing illegal occupation, opposing settlements. And the way you can tell when people have got that moral consistency, irrespective of whether it's Palestine or any other country that are suffering from all of this, is when you can see the humanity in other people's tragedies, whether you necessarily like or agree with the foreign policy of that government or that state or whatever you want to call it. So this dedication is to the Bibas family, because they are on the other side of things, in terms of Israeli accounts of this genocide that they are perpetrating on the Palestinians. They also have their tragedies, and innocent people have been caught up in that. And there were 2 young children in that family, and this is dedicated to them, because ultimately it doesn't really matter if you're Israeli or if you're Palestinian. When it comes to the loss of life, and especially the loss of children's lives, it's heartbreaking. And you just have to reject that as a human being, irrespective of the root cause being Israeli apartheid, aggression, settlements, occupation, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, now that's out of the way. Arsenal 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Oh man, I'm very fortunate. I couldn't go to the game on the weekend against West Ham because just dad life. And today I could have gone to the game. I was offered tickets, which is so rare for an away game, and I couldn't go because I had prior commitments, and my wife had prior commitments, so childcare couldn't get out. Otherwise, I would have loved to have gone. So I've managed to miss somehow 180 minutes of Arsenal not winning and not even scoring a goal. My God, the way we are now limping is just painful. Absolutely painful. And you know what? If this is the product of our January transfer window, so it's self-inflicted. We've only got ourselves to blame. I'm sure that the powers that be at Arsenal would have made a decision not to rush this and not to force the issue in January, but instead to prioritise the summer and make sure that in summer we go and do really good business. There is so much pressure on the summer now. I'm telling you, there is so much pressure. All I think about every time I watch Arsenal play with Mourinho up front or Calafiori up front in this nonsense attempt to try and, live without a striker, is they better do the business in summer. It's beyond a joke. Honestly, what we're trying to do now is a joke. And you know what? You always want your team to win, right? But sometimes you are aware of another narrative at play underlying, right? So when the January transfer window finished, who was our next game? It was Man City at home. We battered them. We were literally singing in the stands, who put the ball in the Man City net? Half the effing team did. It was just a brilliant day. Sort of reminded me of that. It wasn't as good, but reminded me of that game against Chelsea. When we battered them 5-0 as well, which sort of lives along in the memory. It was that sort of day where everything was just going right against Man City. But that, to me, I thought, oh God, please, Arsenal fans and the Arsenal management, please don't think for a second that this means that our problem is answered and that we don't need a striker. But it annoyingly sort of vindicated the decision that they had made in the January transfer window after you then go and score 5 against Man City on the 2nd of February. And then our next game was Leicester. And it was all this talk about, instead of Marouane, it was Mourinho. Marouane being Fellaini, that sort of tactic of putting a player like that up front, and then he goes and scores 2 goals and we win 2-0. And the second goal was actually slightly cultured. It was actually a really good finish. And then you think to yourself, oh, for God's sake, I really, really hope the ball don't get any wrong ideas now. Scored 5 against Man City. Now we've put Marino up front and we've scored there. They're going to start thinking we can play anyone up front because our system is so effective that it's just going to work. Reality has hit us big time against West Ham at home, losing 1-0, Nottingham Forest away, drawing 0-0. And on both of those occasions, Liverpool have gone and got 6 points whilst we have mustered up 1. Can you imagine if it was the other way around? The title race would be carnage right now and we would all be buzzing. But this is self-inflicted, and it's what in a way, it's like you could say it's what should happen when you don't have the ambition. When you don't say, "Look, we've got a chance of chasing the title down here." Yes, we could go and sign the striker. We could go and pay over the odds. We could go and waste money on a loan. Or I say waste money. Let's not call it a waste. Let's call it we could go and sort of overspend because you don't get value in the January market necessarily on a loan signing. But at least we would have been asking questions of Liverpool. We've asked nothing of them. And you know what? Credit to them, man, because they had Villa away, City away, Newcastle at home. These are the fixtures we were waiting for. And they've gone and pulled out 7 points out of 9. Worthy champions who now need to only go and win 7 more games. And that's if Arsenal wins every single game remaining this season. And on recent evidence, it's not going to happen. So yeah, really, really frustrating. Today, what's the point? What is the point of even talking about the game? We were just not good enough. Martin Keown said afterwards that the approach play he thought was good. I don't think it was good. I was watching, the Liverpool game afterwards, and I thought I'd do my content after. Watch Liverpool's approach play. That is good. That asks questions of defences. Arsenal very easy to defend against. It's only Ethan Ranieri, and we took him off for Raheem Sterling. Stop doing that, Mikel. Honestly, every time Ranieri gets anywhere near the ball, I get very excited. I feel like he has just got such a good ability to manipulate the ball and take people on, and he was brilliant as usual. And it's crazy that we just had him in our youth team and he's had his breakthrough season. A player of that quality, there wasn't even a ramping up in terms of him getting up to speed. Even with Saka, for example, it was what position should he play in? And eventually he found his way and became really, really effective. But with Ranieri, man, just from day one, he is special. And I love watching him play. He's going to have a big part to play next season when, as far as I'm concerned, he's knocking on the door in the starting lineup, perhaps should be in the starting lineup. Unbelievably special player that I just can't get over him. Can't get over watching him play. And he was the one bright spark today. And then we went and took him off for Raheem Sterling. Another substitution we make. We go and put on Zinchenko. It hurts me when I see this. Every single time I see this and I see us trying to win a game and we're putting on Zinchenko, taking off Ranieri. Yeah, this season is over in the Premier League. All eyes now are on Champions League. And I've said it all along, there's something about the style of play that we have or the style of play of other teams in the Champions League. I think it's generally because, they're less defensive, less reactive. They try and actually win the game a bit more in the Champions League. They're a bit more on the front foot. And I think it suits us a lot more. I'm just hoping Saka gets back in time and we make a fist of it in the Champions League. PSV, that is the next game for me that has got real meaning. Yes, I want to finish second. I want to secure second place because we're not finishing first. But it's all about the Champions League now. I'm out. Another awful performance. And Liverpool, congratulations. See you next time.